different ways that you can look at the place of religion in human society. One perspective, one that's often been used by anthropologists, is to focus on its function. What does religion do that makes human life more manageable, that makes it worth the enormous amount of time and effort that we put into it? In most human societies, of course, resources are always limited. If you have extra money, there are always people who need food, houses that need to be fixed, roads that need to be built, weapons that need to be made. You never seem to reach a place where society has everything that it needs. Now, in that context, it doesn't make sense that people would just throw resources away. Religion is something that societies put a lot of resources into. In many societies, temples and religious ceremonies are among the most expensive and magnificent creations of the culture. It stands to reason that these expenditures are doing something for them, that there is something about them that justifies these tremendous outlays. Functional approaches to understanding religion try to see what that might be. Now, one common way to see this is in terms of social control. In many cases, religion helps keep people in line. It gives people a reason to behave the way they're supposed to and keeps them from doing things they're not supposed to. In a lot of cultures, for example, crime and sin are closely related. To steal is not merely against the law of the United States. It's also against the law set forth in the Ten Commandments. If I sneak into my neighbor's house and take a snowblower, and my neighbor, by the way, has a really nice snowblower and I need one, I haven't just violated Plattsburgh city ordinances. I have offended God himself. And while the city police may not catch me, God surely will, and he has punishments that offer a lot more severity than a year in Dannemora. The notion of the Last Judgment is a powerful disincentive to socially inappropriate conduct. Now, this is true in a lot of societies. Religious rules, taboos, and prohibitions keep people from breaking rules that might otherwise be impossible to enforce. They also get people to do positive things that they might not otherwise do. In all three of the Abrahamic religions, for instance, Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, charity is seen as a holy act. Giving alms to a beggar, or donating money to a hospital, or donating your time to a homeless shelter are all, in a way, holy acts. They are things that don't just benefit society, but things that bring you favor in the eyes of God. On a group level, religions often have a social mission. Catholic Charities, for example, have set up schools and hospitals and orphanages all around the world to further what they see as a call to action from God to relieve human suffering. Religion can offer a way around the self-centered orientation that so often guides people when they're disposing of their own resources. Now, sometimes the benefits that religion provides aren't quite so obvious as that. Taboos, for example, often serve functions that you wouldn't expect. In many cultures, for example, there's something that we call a postpartum sex taboo, in which it's considered impure for a woman to have sexual relations for a lengthy period after giving birth. In some cases, it's 6 weeks or so. Sometimes it lasts for up to a year. This may be accompanied by a period of isolation, in which the woman spends weeks or months alone with her baby in a separate room. Now, whatever the spiritual benefits of such practices, there is clearly a public health one. They promote birth spacing, keeping people from having another pregnancy too soon after a child is born. This not only gives the woman's body time to recover from the pregnancy, it also helps moderate population growth and ensure that parents don't have too many small children to feed at once. Now, that's the functional approach to looking at religion, focusing on the things religion does to encourage people to conform to social roles and to do socially beneficial things. There's a lot to this, and I think it's undoubtedly true that religion does have a lot of functions in human society. I'd like to caution you, though, against overdoing this, because there is a flip side to it. Religion doesn't just promote social stability. At times, it promotes social instability. Religion doesn't just make you conform, but at times it can make you rebel. During the 1950s and 1960s in the United States, for example, the civil rights movement transformed American culture based on the leadership of a number of deeply religious people who base their calls for political equality on strongly held beliefs in the spiritual equality of all people. On a smaller scale, religious movements like those associated with David Koresh in Waco, or Jim Jones in Oakland, or John Humphrey Noyce in Oneida, have promoted radical visions of social change that have in some cases led to violence. In some cases, as in Iran or Afghanistan, religion can serve as the basis for massive revolutionary movements that destabilize and transform entire nations. To say that religion keeps society in line, then, is only half the story. Religion is also one of the main things that gets people to step out of line and change the world around them.